Welcome everyone to today's live stream, episode 41 of our Baldur's Gate 3 Bard gameplay series. I'm Commander Joel, and I want to thank you for coming along on our journey today. First of all, sorry for being late. Sometimes you can't control crazy drivers. So, yeah, there was a problem getting home from work today. I've been on the road for the past hour or so. Literally just drove in and sat down, so sorry about not having any time to chat before we get started here. But we'll have plenty of time during the stream, I'm sure. So, nothing on admin notes this week. So, on our recap, at the end of last week's episode, we had gotten into a fight. We had finished up exploring down on the beach and gotten into a fight between two rival criminal enterprises, so to speak. And we ended the live stream with that. Now, off stream, I did go through and do inventory management, did some selling and that sort of stuff to clear that up. And hopefully our inventories are a little more clean, but we'll go ahead and jump in now and we'll work on making our way back up to the main area of the city and continue on with our exploration of Rivington. Hey David, hey Lord Henry, thanks for being here. Again, sorry for being a little late, but yeah, literally just drove in and sat down, so. Okay, so here we go. Looking at our inventories, you can see we're all cleaned up on our inventories. I have also gone through and split up all of the potions that we have to date amongst everybody, so that if I bring other party members into and out of the party, I can just take the potion pouch and give it to them. I can just take the spell book and give it to them. I do have some one-off additional ones in here on my main character that I want to keep here for use specifically for me. But for the most part, we've gone through and evened out our inventory so that we can clear up some carry weight, sold off a bunch of stuff, gotten a bunch of gold out of all of that. And we've also done a tiny bit of purchasing in that I did pick up the horns of the Berserker. So we're going to be getting additional damage here. And is this still my packed weapon? Yes, it is. So as long as I don't have full health, I'm going to be dealing an additional 2 necrotic damage. We're going to experiment with this and move this around a little bit as we go here. But we're going to try and, I think it's going to work out fairly well for me. The question is really whether it's going to go here or whether it's going to go on Curse, and we're going to kind of take a look at that as we go. But for the most part, the rest of it was just inventory cleanup for the most part. So I think we're all kind of set up here with where we need to be. So we'll go ahead and jump back in. I did go through and do all the searching of these barrels and everything around here. So for now, you can see that we've cleaned out all of the beach area all the way around underneath Wyrm's Crossing. And there's a couple of things that we want to tackle today. So the big thing that we're going to do today is work our way into the Circus of the Last Days. But before we do that, we do need to pick up another quest at Sword Coast Couriers. We dealt with the scratch encounter here in the animal pens. There is a quest we can pick up inside of here that we want to go do, and we will swap Gale into our party temporarily to to complete that quest. We can also go over to the blacksmith shop here and check on a vendor here and see what they have to sell, and then we're going to make our way into the circus. So no need for us to walk all the way back. So we're going to head to Rivington here. And we'll go check out the... Not here. We'll go check out the blacksmith first.
What do you get out of this?
Your mother will kill me. Let the kid come. He wants
Okay, and the blacksmith is here. This is Gildro Angle Iron's smithy here. And Gildro is one of Orin's disguises. So if he's one of the first two people that you talk to amongst her disguises, he will turn into Orin and he will no longer be here. Gildro will be dead.
Something's on my mind.
If you're a customer, go down to the shop. Otherwise, clear off. Been poking around downstairs, have you? Well, I've got nothing to hide. Those gnomes are victims. They've spent years in exile, no forge to call their own, all because of some ancient bloody grudge. The Gondians think they're the only ones fit to swing a hammer round here. They're wrong. One day they'll learn that the hard way. Until that happens, I'll give those iron hands a roof over their heads. Nothing wrong with it. Now clear off. If you want anything else, go to the shop. I've got work to do.
Okay, so we will go to the shop here.
Let's see.
And while you're out here, okay, the shop is down here. Here is a hatch. This hatch leads you to the ladder that is inside of the Iron Hand Gnome's hideout. Okay, so this is another way to get in there. You'll have to make your way, you have to close the door and make your way in here this way, rather than the way that we made it in, which was by going down through the entrance down here. But either one of them is going to lead you in there. So we'll go down here and we will head to the shop. And again, there's stuff that you can loot in here if you want to steal it.
Browse carefully. The weapons are sharp. Hi. Or want a blade? Or a bow? Or a dagger? Or maybe a spear is more your thing? You look like you know how to use a spear. By spear. What'd you say? Huh? Yep, that's me. On the outside, but he's a softy at heart, like molten steel. Also, he's a living legend. Do you know he's won Best Smith in Rivington 7 years in a row? And he says that if I move enough stock, I might even get to have a go on the anvil. Oh, yay!
Okay, so there are a few interesting items that will be sold here. So most of the arrows are of the higher end. You have some of the higher end loot table arrows that you can be able to pick up here. But some of the specialty items, you have the ambusher. You gain a +1 to initiative rolls and advantage on perception checks, which is always nice. In combat, you deal an additional 1d6 necrotic damage against creatures that haven't taken a turn yet. So this is very similar to an on-attack type of damage boost that you're going to get from a few other weapons in the game. However, this one with 1d6 necrotic damage can really be a big boon when you're dealing with a Gloomstalker assassin type, where if you can manage to get surprise, then everything's going to be a crit. And with your high number of attacks, since this is a short sword, you can use this in your offhand as well to be able to deal multiple offhand attacks with it with all of your bonus actions. So you can really up the damage here by being able to get 1d6 additional necrotic damage in that surprise round. So Ambusher can actually be very, very good. A lot of these are just going to be +1 weapons until we get down to here with the Dancing Breeze. So the Dancing Breeze is a +2 glaive. So standard glaive, not anything really special until you get down to the proficiency unlocks where you have whirlwind attack. You strike out at all nearby foes, making separate attack rolls against each target. So anyone within that melee range, and remember the Dancing Breeze as a glaive has extra reach. So your melee range is quite a bit bigger AoE around you. Every target you're going to make an attack roll against when you use this. Now this can be incredibly damaging, especially when you utilize things like branding smite and that sort of stuff, especially, well, like I say, things that can trigger on multiple enemies, on multiple attacks, I should say. And some of those additional damage sources work much differently in the game than they would in tabletop. So being able to attack multiple characters and get an attack against all of them in an AoE is incredibly useful, because it's the entire area, not just like cleave or slashing flourish, which can go in a cone or an area in a specific quadrant around you. And then being able to tack on damage riders on top of that can deal out a lot of damage very, very quickly. It is once per short rest, so as long as you're able to take more short rests, as you are with a bard, obviously, it can be very, very useful. Bone Spike Garb is the hand-in-hand thing that goes along with the Bone Spike boots. You gain 15 temporary hit points whenever you rage. This is clothing. This is not armor, so this is meant to work with your unarmored defense barbarians. You reduce all incoming damage by 2, and whenever you're struck by a melee attack, the attacker takes 2 piercing damage. So just like the Bone Spike boots, which I'm not sure
Sharp as ever.
if we have on anybody here, we don't. It's another way where if you are hit, you're going to be dealing damage in return. So for your Gale tank build, where you have Armor of Agathis, the Bone Spike armor and boots can be very useful as damage riders, because you're intending to get hit with that build. And this can put out more damage in return after you have been hit. The other thing that you're going to find here is the Elven Chain. Now, one, this looks incredibly cool. It's one of the cooler armors in the game to begin with. But as things that go along with it, one, you're considered proficient with this armor while you're wearing it. So you do not have to have medium armor proficiency to wear this, which means that you can give this to your spellcasters and people like that and get a bump in their armor class by being able to wear it. And Elven Agility. You have a +2 bonus to initiative rolls and advantage on dexterity saving throws. It is still medium armor, so your armor class bonus is limited to +2. But for again, certain types of builds, obviously not here where we're trying to do this, but for builds that don't have proficiency with medium armor, this is a way to get it without having to sacrifice a feat to get it for you. So it looks really cool, and it is a really, useful set of armor for specific types of builds. The rest of the stuff that you're going to find in here is going to be +2, I believe, and that's really about it. Except for these last two, I think. Yes. So the Swire Sledboard, shield +2 armor class. At the start of your turn, meaning it resets after every turn, you're going to get Force Conduit. Now, Force Conduit is where any of the normal types of damage are reduced by 1 per turn remaining. And if the entity takes damage while it has 5 or more turns remaining, it deals 1d4 force damage in a 6-meter radius. So this can be paired up with a bunch of other things, or the other Force Conduit items, which can allow you to stack up. This is a free way to get 1 turn of Force Conduit at the start of every turn. It does come with Shield Bash, which we've seen before. It's a reaction you can use to knock prone. And then last is the Stalker Gloves. So you gain +1 bonus to initiative rolls, and your sneak attack deals an additional 1d4 force damage. Now, this can be a damage rider that gets stuck onto a lot of things, because this is not necessarily just your melee sneak attacks. This also works on ranged sneak attacks. So if you are dual wielding light crossbows, you can stack up sneak attack bonus. Well, not just dual wielding light crossbows, but if you are using your ranged sneak attack builds, then you're going to gain 1d4 force damage on your sneak attacks. So it's a great way to get an extra bonus rider, damage rider, onto the damage that you have. We're not going to worry about much in here right now, just to show you what it is. But you can come back here, especially on your arrows, and stock up more on these, especially the slaying arrows, as you go through this, as another source of picking all those up.
Want more? Want less? Want to sell?
Hey,
Wanna
Chibi,
buy?
welcome.
You know where I am. Bye!
Okay, so now heading out the front here, we're going to go into the main entrance of Sword Coast Couriers here. And we're going to talk to Danzo.
New face! Welcome to Sword Coast Couriers. To send and to serve. Delivery not guaranteed. Well, we've had to change the policy. Hard to send letters by road when there's a rampaging army of fanatics bearing down on you. I'll tell you, it's left me in a right pickle. I've sent what I can by pigeon, but now something's attacking them and all. Become a postmaster, Danzo. It'll be easy. Nobody mentions having to spend your evenings hunting for pigeon carcasses, do they? Not the foggiest. Normally they fly true as an elven arrow. Something nearby is snatching them, I can tell you that much. Well, if it's not too much trouble, I'd be much obliged. Any letters you find, bring them back to me, unopened, of course, and there's some gold in it for you.
Okay, so we popped up a new quest here for Find the Missing Letters. So Postmaster Danzo is asking us to find them and not to read them if we do end up finding them. And you can see our quest marker is above us here.
Readers will be outraged.
I do have Speak with Animals.
A little wet under the wing for our unit. The commander will soon straighten you out.
I've no need of a wingman. Commander Lightfeather will give you your briefing.
Okay, so we're looking for Commander Lightfeather and...
Name and rank! Quickly now! There's a war on! At ease! At ease! I am Commander Lightfeather, leader of the finest aerial communication regiment this side of the Chiantha. State your purpose, Groundwalker. I don't have all day. Damned awful business. Fine flyers, a lot of them. Gone without a trace. Intelligence is in short supply, but we know our enemies flanked us on the west side, not one rooftop away. We're avoiding the whole area. I won't lose one more beak to the blighter. If you pass that way, beware the sign of the featherless wings. From that rooftop, none return.
Okay, so we've learned that there's something going on to the west of us, not one rooftop away, and that puts us on top of the open hand temple here. And that's where we're going to go next. There are some letters up here you can read and that sort of stuff. We're not going to focus on those. Before we go into the open hand temple, though, we are going to head to camp real quick. We're going to swap out Will for Gale, just for this one little part.
Or in toys with us where she could destroy us. Whatever her motivations, I hope she reveals them quickly.
I'd be delighted. Though, someone else will need to watch the cook pot, of course.
Back in the thick of things at last.
Oh, how exciting.
Okay, and again, we don't have to worry about leveling Gale up here for this.
We loved Father Logan as you did, and we would never hurt him. We had nothing to do with his death.
Okay, so we're going to head through the open hand temple to the back area. Somebody wants to talk to us. Gale does.
The Absolute should be a thing of the past, and I with it. Yet, at the risk of angering Mistra further, I'm glad it didn't come to that, given what has come to light. Indeed. Under other circumstances, I might have been subdued or ashamed, but after what we saw, I must admit, I'm excited. The Elder Brain, but more importantly, the crown that it wore. Even without seeing it for myself, I could sense it. Netherese magic. So pure, so complete. And I doubted what I was feeling at first. Most Netherese artifacts contain only the faintest amount of their former power. The ghost of an echo of a memory. That crown was different. I can't fathom how such a wonder survived. Surely everything of its ilk was destroyed along with Netheril itself, but no matter. It exists. I must learn more of it. That crown sits on a gargantuan elder brain bent on destroying us and everything we hold dear. Understanding its true nature might unlock the means of our victory. We need to learn more about what we saw. An artifact as powerful as that crown must have been documented somewhere. as luck would have it, we'll soon find ourselves near one of the finest book collections this side of Candlekeep, Sorcerer's Sundries. I need to go there and learn all I can. Ha! Sorcerer's Sundries is no mere trading post. It's been serving the arcane community for centuries. Their collection of rare tomes is unparalleled. Netherese texts are hardly commonplace, but I'm certain they'll have one or two stashed away. You'll have to forgive my eagerness, but if my suspicions prove to hold water, this could be the answer to all our problems.
Okay, so that was all triggered due to Gale, or the end of Act 2. We just haven't had him in our party since then. So we're going to split our group
with magic.
And Gale has Enhanced Leap.
To new horizons. Is that Tara? Why, I think it is.
Okay, you passed the perception check, and you learned about Tara.
My pleasure.
Mr. Dakarios, heavens! Fancy seeing you here. I suppose you won't be terribly shocked to find your old friend Tara amongst the pigeons. They've always been a personal favorite. Oh, but that reminds me, I found you something. A lovely little keepsake. In the past, it might have helped with your condition, but now that you're better, perhaps you can put it to some other use.
For me? You shouldn't have.
I know, but I just love you so.
Tara, I don't suppose you're responsible for the missing messenger pigeons.
One needn't guess. Pigeon meat is my second favorite.
I'd offer you some of your favorite meat, but I haven't got any. Beholder jerky is surprisingly hard to come by.
More's the pity. But no bother. These pigeons are quite delicious.
Very well. Enjoy your feast, Tara.
Thank you. I most certainly will, sir.
Okay, so Tara's going to fly off. We're going to meet Tara again, actually. But we picked up the Ring of Blink. That gives us the Blink spell, which is very interesting, to say the least. But this allows us to cast it, I believe it's once per long rest, yes. That we can cast the Blink spell. I don't need it. And then, holding left alt, we see the bundle of letters that we're looking for. Now, that's going to get us an inspiration here, but there's also another letter down here that is...
This will come in handy.
Kind of the same. This letter is actually in the packet. Inside this bundle of letters. You're going to find one of these as well. They are slightly different game IDs in the game code. Because I think they have one sentence that's different. But either way, it's not supposed to be there. It doesn't always spawn. If it does spawn, though, the game is going to think that you've opened the bundle of letters already. So, again, one more use for Arcane Word. Damage reduction from falling. So, as far as the game is concerned, we've already opened the bundle of letters. So, we are going to go ahead and open that up anyway. That's going to give us access to these 3 items, and you can see there are 2 of the Postmaster shipment inquiries here. If you read this, it talks about the fact that Danzo is kind of working with the Zentarum here and knows what was in the chest, the iron flask. So we can confront him about that. But first, we're going to put Will back in the party.
Lies before me.
Gale in your party allows you to have that conversation with Tara. Otherwise, you're going to have a persuasion option to be able to get the bundle of letters and the ring.
I met her twice. The first time, I was a boy of 7 or 8, at a banquet in the Flaming Fist's honor. One look and I was smitten. Chestnut hair that flowed behind her like willow fronds, as she floated from one room to the next as if carried by clouds. The second time, Stelmane was different. Even with the aid of a cane, each step she took was a struggle. Every word she spoke took great physical effort. A stroke victim? I asked Father later. No, he said. A stroke survivor.
Okay, we failed the perception checks.
I couldn't say. But think about this. My father was tadpoled. Stelmane is dead. The people are frightened and the council's in disarray. To exert control, you must first sow chaos. A tyrant's strategy, as Father would say. These murders aren't random acts. Someone powerful is guiding the killer's hand, and the city is made weaker for it. I'm up for the challenge. You've just got to make a little space. Let's make this happen.
Okay, so now Will's back with us. We'll leave camp. And we can head back out here to the street. And we're going to head right up to the circus, which is just back up the way up here. You can see that we've explored all of Rivington. This is just because we came up to the abandoned windmill this way. There's nothing else special down here, but we have explored the remainder of Rivington now.
Don't make things worse.
You want to let those thugs get away with this?
It would be most pleasing to sleep indoors once.
Always ready.
They're damn near chomping at the bit. What's the plan?
Do you think Dribbles will have his animals?
Of course.
And here we come to the Circus of the Last Days.
Let's go.
The creepy monster.
Stinks of cheese. Between his piggy toes.
How dare you? What in the hells is all of this?
A necessity, good sir. The Steel Watch loves pretending sweet Rivington doesn't exist. So we have decided to protect you, dear patrons. No need to thank us. You'll be allowed in once I've done this batch. Next! Hello, hello, and welcome to the Circus of the Last Days, the finest extra-planar circus there is. We travel from plane to plane, thrilling all blessed to see us. From tempestuous Ginny to belligerent redcaps, you'll find them all here. Oh, more than him got the knife. They say the Absolute's cronies have been busy chopping people up like it's going out of style. They won't go near us, of course. Lucretious, bringer of night, protects us. And even the Absolute knows better than to tangle with a necromancer. But enough of this. The circus is a place of joy and distraction, so come inside and forget your worries. Not a problem, dear patron. Benji just has to check if you're a vicious murderer. Benji?
Brain juice smells like piss and iron. No light.
Oh, well, that's a first. Usually I'd allow you in, but in these times, I can take no chances. Move along. No circus for you.
So here we're going to have multiple options. The Bard option here for Deception is giving us a plus 16. Same thing with Persuasion because we have the same proficiency and expertise here. We also have Warlock Deception, giving us the same thing. It doesn't really matter which one of these ways we use to get in. However, this option is going to lead us to an interesting conversation.
Oof! Viola Silvertongue won't be happy. Oh well, she should have practiced those high notes. Welcome to the circus. A motley crew of misfits and morons. We're happy to have you.
Okay, so bluffing your way in gives you an inspiration. There are other ways into the circus that we've seen. There's the back gate that comes in from the open hand temple that you can pick your way in through the back way instead. Coming in the front way, though, gives you an inspiration. So the circus is laid out in a way that it means to take you in a U pattern. You start here around this area, you work your way around the back over here, and finally end up back at this stage back here. There is another way back through here, but Fyodor is meant to keep you from going back this way. So it's meant to move you in a particular way, and there's a reason for that. So we're going to start off here at the first tent, and that's with Zara the Mummy.
You realize she is mining putting on face paints. She has them to sell.
Okay, so Zara the Mummy is going to be selling a lot of the rare die packs in the game. So her inventory is going to be resetting after long rest. So you can go through and, again, do the standard level up process or long rest process with partial rests instead of using camp supplies to reset the inventory to see what she's going to have as far as the very rare and the rarer dies that are in here. Some of these, the white and scarlet's always good in my opinion. But some of these other very rare dies are really, really good as far as dyeing your equipment. So if you're interested in the whole fit, thing going on with your characters, then don't pass up on Zara the Mummy here. There are two other things. First, a disguise kit. This allows you to basically use the disguise self spell. And then you have the face painting kit. The face painting kit is here for a reason. It gives you a clown face until long rest. And you might be wondering why. Well, there's a reason that you would want to have possibly have clown face painted on. And that's because of a particular item that you can pick up here in the circus, which has a very debilitating effect by wearing face paint. So you can stock up on face painting kits here, again with the partial rest or the level up process, and stock up enough of those where if you now want to use that item, you can use one of these that lasts until long rest, and now you're freely able to use that item without any negative repercussions. And we'll talk more about that when we get there. For now, there's nothing really here that I want to pick up. I mean, I guess I could pick up one of these sets just to kind of show you what the blue dye looks like, but I'm not really interested in anything here per se. So just to kind of show you a little bit of what the boreal blue is like. Oops. Okay. So you get these sets, and some of these are, some of the very rare ones can be really cool sets of colors that you don't get color combinations on very often. So for me, it's not really a big deal, but for a lot of people it is, so that option is always there. So now, and I'm getting confused within my playthroughs. Do we have a love interest in this playthrough, chat? I can't remember. We also need to go to camp anyway because we need to pick up some money. Hey, Solo, welcome. We're going to go here to the Traveler's Chest. And you see, we have a lot of gold. This was from the inventory management that we did after last week's episode. So you can see we're fairly stocked on gold. We're gonna pick 5,000 out of here. I think I'm gonna go talk and see.
My favorite traveling companion.
I don't think I have one here that I've followed through with. I could be wrong though. It might be Karlach.
Fucking shapeshifter. She'll try to break our best asset, our trust. Fortunately, she's no match for our second best asset, me.
Okay. I know it wasn't Lae'zel. I think Shadowheart is probably...
Orin's little display was just intended to rattle us. We mustn't let her succeed. We need to stay alert all the same.
Yeah, it doesn't look like we have anybody that is specifically keyed to be our love interest. So it doesn't really matter. This would give us a chance to get I think what happened is that we unintentionally triggered it somehow with Will previously and then broke it off, is what I believe had happened here. I don't actually have a problem going along with Astarion here.
My favorite traveling companion. Well, obviously I would, but you have so many followers already. I wouldn't want to crowd you. Excellent. Now that that's settled, lead on.
Yeah, I think that's what had happened previously, is we had unintentionally triggered the romance option with Will, and then once we realized it, we broke it off, is what I believe had happened previously. So
over here.
And sorry, I'm just looking something up here. Okay.
At least
So
things have
that
stayed
gives us
interesting.
the gold that we're going to need for something a little later on. And we're going to go head across the way over here and talk to Zethino. And I do want to look at something else here real quick. Sorry, it's been a while since I've done these.
Save yourself from heartbreak, for Zethino knows.
Sorry, I'm just looking through this real quick to make sure that I know the answers. Okay, I think I know them.
The city of stone and steel is an endless scream in nature's womb. I have felt no peace here. Your eyes, Stira. There is pain, endless and deep, but also devotion, blazing like the sun. You're in love, are you not?
So it actually looks like it was Astarion with the highest. He's standing right next to us here.
You are wise to admit it. When it comes to love, vulnerability is armor, truth a sword, and trust a shield. I pray you wield all three, Stira. Bring the one you love to me. I will look into your hearts and see if your love is eternal or doomed eternally.
So yeah, Astarion, or Shadowheart was the other one that we were the highest with. We've already pursued this with Shadowheart in the Paladin playthrough, so we'll go with Astarion here.
Oh, I'm the one you love. Well, my dear, how could I say no?
Close your eyes, little ones. Be still as stone to earth. And remember to breathe.
The other thing about Zethino is that she is one of Orin's possible disguises. So if she is one of the first two you talk to, you won't be able to do any of this. She will be Orin, and then she will disappear, and you won't be able to interact with Zethino at all.
Ah, glorious. Your bond is sweeter than nature's dew. I see you, know you. But do you know one another? Astarion, a tumultuous past, hides behind a mirthful grin. The heart is fraught, so let us begin with the joyous. When is he happiest?
So for Astarion, a couple of different things, but here, I believe is the right one.
Guilty as charged, sometimes literally.
Your bond beats in pleasure. It is an honor to behold. Many things delight the heart, but only one makes it sing. Tell me, what does he desire more than anything?
This is an easy one.
yes. Yes, please.
Our touch has been that of sunlight. But now we must ask the deep, the difficult. Fear sits in the soul of all. To tame it, we must name it. Astarion, what is his deepest fear?
Now, you can't take this one too serious. You have seen Astarion's responses so far, and he's obviously not taking this very serious. But one thing that you know about Astarion is how vain he is.
Ha! Well, when you look this good... Well, you were right every time. I almost wish you hadn't been, but, you do know me.
I press my finger to your bond and find a shield. Impenetrable. It is beautiful. Your love is one few have. Cherish it. Go in peace, seedlings, and know that you made one whose heart was long quiet, beat with love anew. Can you and your beloved...
Okay, so I don't believe that's going to trigger...
Hello, my dear.
Yes. So we are triggered back into romance by this. If you had been in romance previously, you would have had an option in there to pick me as what makes his heart sing if you were still in the romance option. There are a couple of different options that work in those second two questions. The correct ones, quote unquote, are just the ones that offer the most approval bonus. So breaking a nail on the last one gets a 2 times approval bonus, whereas most things fear him, actually, which was the last option, only gets a regular approval bonus. So it just kind of depends on how much you want to up the approval and how funny you kind of want to be with things. But we're going to drop Astarion off again.
Maybe it will bring us closer.
Well met. I'm up for the challenge. You've just got to make a little space. I like how you think.
Okay, and we'll continue on around the Circus of Last Days. And next is here. And Lord Henry's question was, have I ever been turned into a cheese wheel here? I did in my personal playthrough just to see what it was like. I'm not going to do it here. You certainly can experiment with it, but based upon the choices that you make here with Akabi, you can be turned into a wheel of cheese, and it's exactly that. You do get turned into a wheel of cheese, and you get to roll around and be a wheel of cheese. So it's kind of funny to experience, and it's, you know, perfectly in character for how Larian would program this game. But yeah, I'm not gonna do it here. But yeah, as one of the punishments, he can turn you into a wheel of cheese. I'm going to break my group. I'm going to check my equipment. This isn't... Yeah, that does matter. I'm gonna go around behind Akabi here. I'm gonna pickpocket him. And you're looking for the genie ring here. So I've got a 50-50 shot here, and we'll see what happens on this, because I might actually get turned into one. Okay, so I wasn't. I was successful.
These boots have seen everything.
I thought my percentage was going to be higher than that, actually, with all the additional things that I was going to throw in, or that I threw in here, but it wasn't. So I didn't think I had that big a chance of failing it. Okay. So now that you've got the ring, you don't have to have it on, you don't have to have it on you or have it equipped or anything like that. The genie's ring allows you to cast Mage Hand. So it allows you to cast it once per short rest. And that's kind of what he's doing here in the background, is he's got an invisible Mage Hand that is influencing how the wheel turns. Now, whoever you want to go into this next area with is who you need to talk to Akabi with, now that you have the ring stolen. So whoever you talk to him with, it's going to trigger the event, and that character alone is going to be shipped off. So either Kurz or myself here, I think, are pretty good options for this, just because of our armor class. I'm gonna go in with my bard here, and we'll talk to Akabi.
Approach, ugly one. Yes, behold, Akabi's Wheel of Wonders. Spin to win prizes beyond your tiny imagination and make your miserable life more bearable. Akabi has traveled across the plains, burning and conquering all. Win the spoils of such conquest. Or, if luck smiles upon you, win the grand prize, the jackpot.
Okay, so what kind of things are available here? There are actually a bunch of items that you can win as consolation prizes here. Now, for every time you spin the wheel, it's going to cost you 500 gold. And most of the items that you can get are not worth it. There are some that are interesting to use. However, most of them have downsides that don't really make them very good. There are, however, some very funny items and things like that that go along with it, like the Unlucky Thieves Gloves, for instance. Provide you a +2 bonus to sleight of hand checks, and it adds a piece of charcoal to the wearer's inventory for every item they steal. That doesn't necessarily mean that there's a downside. You can't actually sell that charcoal for gold after you're done. It is a way to get a bonus to sleight of hand checks, though, and that's probably the most useful thing out of here. However, there is another cloak where it gives you a permanent wet status while you're wearing it, and that means that you're immune to burning and resistant to fire damage, but then you are also vulnerable to cold and lightning. So everything is going to have a positive and then a downside that goes along with it. So we're not going to spin the wheel without getting the ring from him, because we don't care about any of the other items that are in here.
No more questions. Spin or don't. Let us see if you have luck's favor. Impossible. You thief! You cheated! Enjoy the jackpot, muley curt!
And I did it again. I did that in the Paladin live stream. I forget that you start in here in hide mode. So I immediately clicked the hide button to go into hiding, but it brings you out of hiding. So I keep forgetting that every time. It doesn't really matter in this case. We have plenty of movement to be able to get to him. But you are dropped into an entirely new area and also entirely by yourself. And there are Cholt Eliramas here, as well as the boss version of them. And they are roaming around here and they are all hostile. So if they see you, they are immediately going to go hostile towards you. So I'm just going to go ahead and move up here and start getting my attacks in. Actually, what's his distance? 13 meters, so I can actually move back a little ways. Okay, because I don't think his movement is enough to get me here without dashing. So yeah, he's gonna have to dash. Now, he can do the pounce attack as a bonus action. I have pretty high dexterity, so I'm not too worried about it. And he didn't move to attack me. That was interesting.
Don't want to draw any attention.
So I'm going to go back into hiding, and I'm going to do the rest of the exploration here in hiding. We're going to head over here to the left first. And you can see that we have another one here. Now you can watch their patrol patterns, and once you get close enough, they're going to perk up and start moving sometimes. So you want to be quick with the turn-based mode key here. Just like that. In this case, I knew he was going to be moving this way, so I was going to stay behind him. But if you were moving farther this way, he may have turned and seen you. So we're going to move up here. Actually, we're going to do the same thing again. And these you don't have to, you're not going to find a whole lot on them. But so you can utilize heights and chasms to knock them off into various locations. Okay, so I got a surprise round here. And that was because I didn't do any damage that turn. Okay.
Out of sight, out of mind.
We're going to make our way across here and over into this area. Now that I have taken damage, I don't have my full hit points. So now my melee attacks are going to do an additional 2 necrotic damage for all of my attacks. And that's an easy way to get less than your full amount, is to start off by starting a round where you don't do any damage for anything. And you're going to take 1d4 necrotic damage, and that will drop you down below your highest. And then it's going to start proccing. So that's the reason that I took that turn without doing anything. So we've got some gold over here. And you can see the final end place we're trying to go is over here to this portal. Okay, we're going to make our way up here because we want to trigger a couple of them to move down here. So we want to stay on the high ground.
What's inside?
And don't forget the various skeletons that are around here to search. Okay, and we need to start advancing slowly as we move, because now you're going to start to see detection cones. And those two are down here, but we do have one that's patrolling up here. Okay, so we're going to take a little pause here. Okay, and watch that one's going to jump down here. And now these two are locked in place. So they're not going to move from their current positions. And now we have another one that's in this den here, and it's patrolling. We're going to wait for it to turn around, and you can see this is a Colossa. This is one of the boss versions of them. Okay, so you can knock this one off, take some fall damage. However, in doing so, you're going to alert the other two. So actually, come to think of it, I'm going to move back. I want him to head back to his den this way so I can sneak up behind him. And here he goes. Okay, so I'm going to move up behind, trigger a surprise round here, and again, we should be getting bonus necrotic damage on this. No resistances. Okay, so got a crit. That was nice. So now my turn here, if I don't do any damage, I'm going to take more necrotic damage. because of it. Doesn't really matter though. It's a downside for me with surprise rounds, since I don't get my action economy back. I really would need to be dual wielding here to offset that, because I bet I take necrotic damage here. Yes, I did. Okay. But I am getting the additional necrotic damage on my attacks here. And they're just not attacking back. I have no idea why, either. Well, I'm not going to argue with it. Like I say, not entirely sure why they are not attacking back. Okay, a smoke powder bomb here. And I don't know... It's not active. Okay, am I not? Yeah, it's not anywhere in here. That's interesting. I don't think you can speak to him anyway, but I was going to check and see if I could. Okay, we're going to get some arrows out of this, some gold, crafting supplies, a scroll, and a book about this adventurer's journey through the jungle here. We are not the first adventurer to be sent here. And it has not gone well for anybody so far, it looks like. Now up here we have a sleeping Alaremus. And I think I'm going to swap out. I'm not going to be able to. I'm looking to see if there's a way for me to cause damage with my bonus action. Here instead. I think I'm just going to have to enter into combat using something with my bonus action. I mean, I could use Pommel Strike, I just have to reset it. And I can only use it once. So, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense for me to be using Short Rest to do that. So yeah, I don't necessarily think that the Horns of the Berserker are going to work for me after the testing here. I think there's probably going to be better options for what I need to wear, just because it seems like it's going to work best with dual wielding or with your monk. which is what it's really intended for, because it does say unarmed strikes. Because you're able to attack on your surprise round with your bonus action and do damage, where I'm just not able to do that right now with mine. Because, yeah, I'm not going to be able to cause any damage with my bonus action, so I'm going to take necrotic damage on that turn.
What do I have to lose?
Okay. That was fun. Swung at the empty air there. I don't even know why that's an option. If you misclick on something after you've selected a manual attack, you will swing at an empty space. So now we're gonna make our way, we're gonna jump our way over here, or fly our way, doesn't matter. There's another letter here which explains more about another traveler who was tricked into coming here. And we get the Band of the Mystic Scoundrel. So after hitting a creature with a weapon attack, you can cast illusion or enchantment spells as a bonus action. There are a couple of builds that I've seen on YouTube that make this really, really useful. It's not something I'm going to be focused on. I'm going to send it to my camp, though, and keep it. But you can go online and look for a couple of builds that really make it beneficial to be able to cast enchantment spells with your bonus action after you've made a melee strike. Some of them are actually really fun to see.
Light on my feet.
So we'll pick up the bone cap here, and then we're going to head down and take on those last two. Because again, they are both down here waiting for us. And it seems like they're not attacking. So for whatever reason here, I guess my bard was a good choice. Okay. And I'm going to stand right here and do a slashing flourish. Should be able to get them both. Okay, that put me into allowing me to get my extra attack, which is going to allow me to avoid damage. So I guess being able to use the Bardic Inspiration, this maybe triggers something a little differently going into combat. So if I want to avoid the necrotic damage, I have to go in with with one of my flourishes first, which is interesting to know. Oh, that one looked like it was going to attack me. For whatever reason, they just aren't. I don't know why. There's nothing in my combat log that's telling me why. I'm not going to argue with it, though. And this is what I said, you can, they're not never carrying any loot, so you can feel free to knock them off of high places all day long, because you're not going to miss out on any loot if they fall into a chasm or something like that. Okay, so we're going to make our way down here toward the portal that we saw.
But that'll fit in my pack.
And here's another way for you to jump down from this area to get down to here. So if you want to sneak past and or bypass everything, you certainly can do that. Do I have the ring of jumping on me? I do. Oh, I don't need it because I can fly. Forgot. And here we have the painted chest. Now for this, I'm going to put my thieves gear back on.
Bet I can crack that open.
And we have a high DC here. Got a little bit less than a 50-50 chance here. Oh boy, look at those rolls. And in here you will find Nyrolna. Nyrolna is one of those great items for your tavern brawler builds, because you are really going to be throwing this thing all of the time. And the reason you're going to do that is because of Zephyr connection. So first, the weapon will return to your hand when you throw it. Just like an Eldred's Night-bound weapon, it will come back to you whenever you throw it. You cannot be forced to drop it, so disarming attacks will not work on you, or command drop will not work on you. When thrown, the weapon creates an explosion that deals 3d4 thunder damage in a 6-meter blast centered on the target. It's important to know that that explosion does not discriminate between friend or foe. So when you throw this, make sure that you don't have allies around the impact area, because a 6-meter blast radius is pretty harsh. But doing an additional 3d4 thunder damage is really good. It comes with 1d6 thunder damage just by default, so if you're utilizing this for your reverberation build, it can be very, very useful. And we're going to see that here in a second. Veil of the Wind, you gain plus 3 meters bonus to your movement speed and jump distance all of the time. And equipping this weapon gives you immunity to falling damage, so you have feather fall all the time. Now this is a glowing weapon, so it emits a glowing light in a radius of 6 meters, and it is a plus 3 weapon to both to hit and to damage. Now this is a trident, which means it is a versatile weapon, meaning you can use it either one-handed or two-handed. And we're going to swap out a different weapon here on Shadowheart and let her use this, because she is a radiating orb reverberation build, and causing thunder damage is going to trigger all of those things. And this will allow her base weapon attacks, now her thrown weapon attacks, to do all of that without having to use a spell slot or something like that to inflict that damage. So the other thing that it comes with is if you are proficient with it, you are going to gain Zephyr Flash, which you rush forward, creating an air vortex that blasts foes away from you, possibly inflicting bleeding. That bleed's a 3-turn bleed, and it is a 12-meter distance. If you have a bunch of enemies lined up, you can do a 68 thunder damage in a large area in front of you. It's like casting Lightning Bolt, almost, and you'll kind of see how that works. And then you have Zephyr Break. So this is kind of like an AoE thunder damage spell. It pushes creatures back 5 meters and possibly inflicts off balance. Off balance is nice because the attack rolls against all of those enemies have advantage. Like with no matter, it doesn't have to be just you that caused the condition. Everyone that attacks it gets that damage. So Nyrona really shines, like I said, with your Tavern Brawler builds, where you can add your strength modifier into this and really start to stack up the damage that goes along with this. Okay, and that's all you're going to find in here, so we can take the portal back out. Hey, Em, welcome. Glad you're here.
It's been a long day. I need to rest soon.
Okay, and that was Akabi here. We do want to go down here and have a conversation with Viola Silvertongue, the bard.
Another bard? Did Lucretious hire you? Stay out of my way, talentless half-wit.
So yes, you can see as a bard you are going to get an interesting conversation here with the other bard in this location. She's performing there's the successful performance check. Once the performance check is done, and it's been made, now you can see what they're doing. If you pass the performance check, they're going to drop gold on the ground for you, and you can just go pick it up. Now, performance you can do over and over and over again. And you will pass a perception or a performance check. And actually, I've already done it on this group. There's the successful performance check. And now, anytime that you choose to end it, there's the gold on the ground. Now, you will get, there is an achievement for this. It's called the Busking Achievement, and it's to get 100 gold by playing your instrument. And I do want to check something else about this real quick while I'm here. I'm going to wait and see if I get another performance check here above my head. Just going to give it a few seconds. Okay, so yeah, you need to do it on different groups of people. I think there's a way around that, though. I haven't explored this very much since I did this a long time ago. But there is a way to kind of reset everybody here, I believe, so that you don't have to do different groups of people. So that you can speed this process up, basically, when you're doing it. But this is how you are going. This is one of the easy ways to get the achievement, is because there's so many people here that are just standing around in this area, and I failed a performance check. So there was some more gold that was left here on the ground. If you fail a performance check, you don't get any gold. You have to succeed on it. But feel free to spend some time making those collections and getting your Steam achievement for it. So we're going to, instead of breaking through this side, we're going to head over this way. Because we need to talk to Boney here.
Darling, we have a customer. Is your camp drab? Dreary? Then you have come to the right place. Browse our bespoke Stoney and Bony creations. Or commission a statue in your likeness. It is our most sought-after service. Bony, at your service. That there is my darling wife, Stoney. Is she not magnificent? To think she chose me. Why, I wake up every morning with a smile on my face. Now, what can I do for you?
Okay, so we have two options here. You can go in and just view his inventory. You can also have a statue of yourself created at your camp.
Oh, my wife shall be delighted. Customs are her favorite, particularly when their facial structure is as unique as yours.
So you can pick which version of the statue you want. Since I am streaming this, I am not going to choose the last one just in case.
Tremendous! Stoney, darling, let us put this towards our getaway in the Moonshay Isles. I'll have your statue shipped to your camp. You shall love it. We guarantee it.
Okay, and it is 5,000 gold for that statue. There's no way out of it. You can attempt to pickpocket that gold back from Boney. It's incredibly hard to do, though.
Care to purchase a bespoke Stoney and Boney creation?
And that's because you gave him 5,000 gold in a big block. And the amount of gold that you're trying to pickpocket is the difficulties dependent upon how much is in that group. And since Larian has gotten rid of the ability to be able to split gold in an inventory, which used to be the way around it, you would split the inventory by right-clicking on it into more manageable numbers. And you can't do that anymore. You have to roll a nat 20 to be able to pick it.
Oh, you shall be thrilled.
I think that's a little bit
delighted.
role-playing
I
bad for
know
me
it.
anyway, so I'm not going to do it. But we can look at Boney's inventory here, and there's the 5,000 additional gold that he has. Now, Boney is going to sell some of the rarer crafting ingredients in here. He's also going to have a lot of various different gemstones and that sort of stuff. He's also got a very small selection out of the higher end scroll loot pool. So Scroll of Flesh to Stone is always nice. Scroll of Wall of Stone is good too. So these you can stock up on because they're really his type of scrolls. You can stock up on these by refreshing his inventory if you'd like.
Nothing caught your eye? I shan't tell my wife. She'd be most upset.
And now we're going to head around over here and talk to Popper.
Oh, hungry little hobgoblin. Want a treato? I has lots of treatos, and magics, and junks I finds. Don't worry. I only takes junks from dead people. I is nice. lots of times. The beasts ate a kiddo the other day, and I got some good stuffs. I mean, circus is safe. Do not worry. Yes. Yes! I has lots of stuffs. Just for you.
Okay, so Popper's inventory is kind of the same thing in that there's a lot of more rare crafting ingredients from Popper here that you can pick up. So it's a really good place to be able to pick up more ingredients, especially on honor mode for some of the higher end potions. The elixirs of vigilance are incredibly useful. So are the hyena ears that you can get. The purple worm toxin is really, really good. The potions of superior healing. You just don't find a lot of these crafting ingredients sitting around in different locations. Swarming toadstool, the draw poison's great. So being able to find them here and craft up your potions, especially with a particular type of wizard that can give you a boost to your crafting of those potions, especially in honor mode, can be very, very useful. If you just want to buy them straight out, they're going to have a lot of the higher end potions in here as well that you can just straight up buy while you're here. The dark displacement gloves are his only unique item that he can sell. So you gain a +1 bonus to attack rolls when throwing, and may swap positions with the target if they fail a dexterity saving throw. This is kind of like the mobile flourish type of thing, where you can or the arrow of transposition, where you can swap positions with the target. I guess is the arrow of transposition is a better way to say it, not the mobile flourish, where you swap positions with the target. Can be very useful if you have a target up on the high ground. You can make an attack against them and possibly move yourself to the high ground and move them down to the low ground where they're easier to attack. So can be very, very useful in specific encounters. And there's one in particular where later on in Act 3 where these can become very, very useful. So I am going to pick them up. And while I'm here... Whoops. I can't sell off the letters. Okay, so just clean some things out.
Bye-bye now. Come back to Papa soon.
Now, we're going to come back and talk to and have another interaction with Popper here in a little bit. Let's go over and talk to Lucretious. Now, one thing before I do this, on her back, you can see she has a staff. The staff, I can never remember the name here, is the Hollow Staff. The Hollow Staff grants you the ability to cast Arms of Hadar, which is useful. It's a necrotic spell. However, for your necromancer builds, this is one of the best staves that you can get, because the trait that it has gives enemies disadvantage on saving throws against your necromancy spells. So if you're doing a necromancy build, you may want to move Lucretious into an area where you can attack her without angering the rest of the camp. And it's best for all of the citizens have left the camp, because the only way to acquire it is by either killing her or knocking her out and looting her to be able to get it. So there is something else here. And I did this last time, and
Just out of view.
it was a little bit messed up.
Can't risk being in open view.
Okay. I did not mean to do any of that. Wow. It knocked me out of hiding because of evidently a failed stealth check. And that put me into combat. Oh, jeez. Oh, wow. Okay. We are actually going to move ourselves out of the way here, because this combat can expand. I should have known that was going to go wrong. I should have just gone into turn-based mode before I even attempted it, because of how buggy it was last time I tried to do it. You know, I can... There would be a lot of resources used to do this.
Onward.
Still breathing, despite
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do, Lord Henry. I don't enjoy spending this amount of resources on this.
Gods are watching me.
Ready. Moving.
Time to push my luck again.
But I did split these potions apart. For eventualities just
Light on
like
my feet.
this.
Battle favors the fearless.
Actually, I can... No, I can't. I don't have it. I could use a scroll for it. That's going to use my action instead of my bonus action, but this is far enough away. I'm pretty sure.
Can't afford to let up.
Nothing important is ever easy.
Oh no! Oh wow. This is just a comedy of errors. I can't help but laugh here. The stupid helm that is giving me necrotic damage because I didn't do any damage. It triggered, damaged me, knocked me out of invisibility, And now Lucretious is casting Blight on me. I would have disadvantage on the saving throw against it. It's a huge damage a spell. I'm gonna have to counterspell it, but I'm also knocked out of invisibility here, and everybody's gonna come tracking towards me. This is so bad. It's just a comedy of errors. It's just a comedy of errors. I can't help but laugh at it. And now everybody's gonna come tracking after me. Yep, here we go. If they cast an AoE spell, it knocks more people out of invisibility.
Where do I go from here?
It's just a comedy of errors. It's just, you sometimes can't believe how badly things can go.
Making my move.
Am I far enough away? Oh, jeez, half a meter. It's so dumb. It's just so dumb.
Let's end this.
I don't have a choice here.
Heading there.
Ah. Crazy. Just absolutely crazy.
Another fight. Let's go.
Oh boy, now I can't jump because that was my bonus action. Oh boy, another mistake.
Need to find a way forward.
Still on my feet.
So let's hope that I don't take any more damage here. And then on my next turn, I can move them away. They're going to move toward Will on this turn.
Still on my feet. No holding back.
Oh no, I can get Will out of here.
No time to waste.
Okay. 2 done.
What now?
Okay. All right.
On my way.
That was fun. No, it wasn't. So is everybody back here?
Defender of the people.
A long way to go still.
Okay. Well, I guess that's one way to get the opulent chest.
With a flick of the wrist.
Well, we're going to take a long rest here. So inside the opulent chest, you have the pointy hat. You gain a bonus to your persuasion checks equal to your intelligence modifier. They won't stay hostile. Their attitude towards me is decreased, so when I walk up to her, I'm probably going to get the option that says that they are not very happy with me. Perhaps a gift would be in order, or would improve my standing with them, and I'll be able to get them back up where they'll talk to me, but they're not going to be instantly hostile towards us. So the pointy hat, you gain a bonus to your persuasion checks equal to your intelligence modifier. Now, normally, you don't have a high intelligence modifier on your bards or your sorcerers and things like that that use charisma instead. However, that is not always the case, and remember, you can respec in this game really as much as you want. So if you run into a particularly difficult persuasion check, i.e. a 30 persuasion check, you can respec before you do it, put your points into 16 charisma and 16 intelligence, dump the other stats to be able to do that, put your one of them, your charisma into +2, go through your level ups, take your ability score improvements into both of those things, and you can get the possibility of +4 into both of those stats, and that would give you another +4 modifier onto your persuasion check for a if you have a very specific need for it. There are a couple, one that I can think of later on in Act 3, where this can become very, very useful for that exact reason. So it's something to have to keep in your camp for when you possibly need it, because getting that big a bonus to a skill is really hard to do. Okay, so while I'm here, you see the statue. So the true hero of Baldur's Gate has me standing up here, and there is a status effect, and actually I've never looked at that. So it's different, I guess. Just look at those cheekbones. I don't remember that's what the effect used to be called. But I guess it is. Gazing upon this depiction of themselves will bless the owner of the statue once per long rest. It's basically, after you long rest, you get a permanent bless spell cast on you. So you have 1d4 to your attack rolls, saving throws, that sort of stuff that goes along with it. So it's an incredibly valuable permanent buff to get here in Act 3. And while I'm here, I definitely want to swap a few things out. So I'm not going to utilize that anymore. I want to scan by type here and see what hats I took off. I know what I used to be wearing. I was wearing the Cap of Curing. Okay, arcane acuity is always nice. Okay, so I think I am going to go with arcane acuity here. I don't know if that works or not anymore, Lord Henry. Either way,
My faith protects me.
I can check real quick, but I'm not going to do it. Yeah, permanently armed. So even if it was going to still work, I wasn't going to do it. It was obviously an exploit that was there, and I don't think it works. I thought it only worked also if you picked the one that had you in your armor, because otherwise you don't show as having, your model here doesn't show as having any armor or weapons. But if you pick the one where you are in, you are ready for combat, then your weapon shows up on your back. And I think that's what used to be able to trigger it. But yeah, it's been patched out. Whoops. But yeah, either way, I wasn't going to do it. It was obviously an exploit when it happened.
As it could have.
So we'll go ahead and take our...
Can I go?
We'll pick up the opulent chest, actually.
Don't mind if I do.
We'll go sell it here in a minute. But we'll take our long rest.
Let's see what this does.
Queen Vlakith. Skra!
You are Hasharlok, and still you speak my name.
I've seen the captive Orpheus with my own eyes. Spoken to Gestil Kithrak Voss. You lied to us. Enslaved us.
The betrayer Voss lies! I have only a moment, and you, Hasharlok, will listen. We are Githyanki. We move mountains. We snuff out stars. We shake the plains. The traitor Voss has lied to you. The heretic prince would shatter us in an instant. The great dominion shrunk to the head of a pin.
Can this be true? Is the Githyanki prince really a threat to his own people? Or simply a challenge to Vlakith's rule?
Return to the astral prism. Slay Orpheus the Pretender. Serve me, and I will ascend you. You will be no mere warrior, nor Kithrak. You will be Barta Vlakith, commander of dragons. My only, my chosen. A final chance. Kneel before me. Make your promise.
Lazar's thoughts become yours. The sight of Orpheus looms over her mind. Voss's words echo within it. She means to forever turn her back on Vlakith.
I gave you my faith, and you called me traitor. I gave you my life, and you ordered your knights to hunt me. I have witnessed too much, and you have given me too little. Finally, I can see. Orpheus will live, and I will hear his creed. This is my word.
Your word is nothing! You are nothing! The Dothraki will bring you. I will tear your flesh from your bones and devour your skull's marrow while you beg for death. I will consume you. I will unmake you.
Vlaakith is going to have a stroke if she doesn't calm down. So we're going to go talk to Lae'zel here.
Already feeling better.
It is done. There is no going back. As long as the Undying Queen reigns, I am never to soar unbound over the astral sea. Never to cross the one in the void. As it should be. Better a short life built on truth than immortality woven of lies. Better to unite the Githyanki under a prince who would free their minds and honor their bodies. So why do I feel so bitter?
So I do have an insight check here I can make.
Vlaakith has upended Lae'zel's whole existence. Everything she knew to be true, every plan and aspiration she ever held has been painfully ripped away. Lae'zel's bitterness is born of sadness. She is mourning the loss of the person she once was, and can never be again.
How well you've come to know me. But in truth, she didn't take everything. I have what I have gathered for myself. I'm moored to a new regent, a new land, and new allies. Vlaakith cannot unmake she who no longer exists. And so, from the old battle cries is birthed another.
Shma Salar Orpheus, Ma Stilna Forgin in Yeri. Orpheus's will above all. May the comet blaze my path forward.
We find Voss at Sharessa's caress and retrieve the key to releasing the prince. Orpheus Tough Kinazin. Vlaakith's left hand and her right. Commander of all dragons, chosen of the Queen Regent. Not since Vlaakith I has a Bart to Vlaakith been anointed. Another empty promise. Only a naive fool would believe otherwise. The kind of fool I was not so long ago.
Okay, we'll go over here and talk to Karlach.
Soldier, my engine. It hurts. I think this might be it. Soon. Things burning hotter than I knew it could. But look, we've just about made it to the city. That'll do me. Let's go protect it. Whatever happens after that is between me and the so-called gods. Here, here. And hey, kicking his ass might burn off a bit of this extra heat. Let's go home. It's about damn time.
Okay, so we'll do a couple of more quick conversations.
We just played host to an undying queen. Oh, and that's without our fine silverware. Lae'zel has courage turning her back on a lifetime's belief. As for us, best we stay out of interplanar politics, I think. Orpheus is on his own. But should Great Vlaakith come to settle a score with Lae'zel, well, I might be convinced to kill her. undying or not. She was very loud.
I always love the conversations with Jaheira.
So, Lae'zel's finally seen the light and turned on her mistress. It took a little time, but she got there. Though it's not over yet. Masters rarely let their slaves go without a fight. I won't lie. The thought hardly fills me with glee. Even with my newfound advantages, he's still an incredibly powerful vampire. But he's arrogant, too. If he does hear I'm back, he'll try to take me and expose himself in the process. Then I'll be able to strike. Neither will I, darling. At least I hope you'll come along for the show. But regardless, the plan is simple. Find him, stop him from gaining almighty power, and then really enjoy killing him. And if I can seize that almighty power for myself, well, all the better.
Vlaakith's a fearsome one. The sort it's hard to say no to. But Lae'zel said it anyway, to her immense credit. She's choosing truth. She's choosing freedom. For her, for Orpheus, for the Githyanki people. I wish I knew a good Githyanki cheer to celebrate the occasion, but the only gift phrases I've picked up are the sweary sort.
It is kind of crazy, all of the voice lines that have been acted here. When they told us how much of it was going to be voice acted, I was a little wary that was actually true, but it's crazy.
I didn't think I'd live to see the day when Lae'zel turned her back on Vlaakith. But all things considered, good for her.
Glad to see I'm not the only one on the wrong side of an omnipotent authority figure. Lae'zel did well to break free of Vlaakith's manipulations, though I doubt Vlaakith will let such insubordination go unpunished.
So, it seems that Vlaakith is Lae'zel's queen no longer. That took no small amount of backbone.
Okay, and looks like the last conversation needs to be with Scratch here.
It's certainly good to be back at camp. How I've missed the smells. Indeed. And I'm sure Dringo will do a great job. He always took good care of me.
So, we got a good ending there with rescuing the other dogs.
Keeping very well, I hope?
Okay, so let's go ahead and end the evening.
How did you? Oh, it's you. I must have let my mind wander. Enough for you to wander in. Forgive me. I am drained. Ever since you killed Ketheric and took his netherstone, the Chosen's control of the brain has been brittle. It's rebelling against Orin and Gortash fiercely. I suspected that when we took Ketheric's stone, the brain would begin to break free.
Those brainquakes confirm that my suspicion was correct. I do not know what happens now when it receives their orders, and I do not dare guess.
You feel the Emperor's fear as if it were your own. An elder brain enslaved is one thing. An elder brain unleashed will be the end of everything.
Beautiful, isn't it? The mighty Prince Orpheus, contained in submissive slumber. Come. You may as well sit a while, now that you are here. Your company isn't unwelcome. Trying to guard us. The brain is restless, but I am distracted, and my lack of focus is endangering us. I'm haunted by memories. They are relentless. I can think of nothing. No one else. Duke Stelmane, or Belin, as I knew her. I wasn't ready for her death. You thought you were my first ally. Far from it. I have long sought the allyship of others. It is the only way to succeed. Though my relationship with Belin was different from my relationship with you. In a way, but not the way you're thinking of. In life, she was my business partner. Back when we ran the Knights of the Shield. A difficult task for a mind flayer. Duke Stelmane trusted me, and the city trusted her. I conceived the plot, but Belin took center stage. It was she who met with the merchants, politicians, and patriarchs. It was she who negotiated deals and signed off on agreements. Her rooms played host to the most important conversations in the city. Together, we brought order to chaos. At its height, everything that happened in that city went through the shield. Through us. I could not have done any of it without her. Just as I cannot do any of this without you. But now, she is gone. I appreciate your understanding. What I feel is deeper than superficial cures can reach. And not entirely unwelcome. Most people think that mind flayers are soulless husks who feel nothing. I am glad you are not most people.
You do have an opportunity here to begin a romantic encounter with the Emperor if you are so inclined to do so. I'm not going to go down that route, but you certainly can by choosing your dialogue options correctly here.
Another quake. The brain is rebelling again. I need to focus. And so do you.
Okay, I'm going to change out to Astarion again because I definitely don't want to fail what I'm going to have to do here.
My favorite traveling companion. I would, but you have so many friends already. In that case, I'd be happy to tag along.
Should have had Astarion do this previously, but Okay, so we will leave camp now. We'll work our way back in from the front of the camp again, just to be on the safe side.
Going to hire all the refugees. Just like that.
Or from the front of the circus again. And yeah, Astarian's portrait is bugged out. I read about that on the forums. So we'll go back here. And you see Paramedius, who was hostile to us previously, is now not hostile anymore. Lucretious is the same. However, our attitude might be so broken with her that we need to give her a gift to talk to her.
Lucille! It's pose, grapevine, then pivot step. Jacob, you have the grace of my great-grandmother's missing leg. And Boris. Boris! Put some sensuality into those lovely hip bones. I know you have it in you. Step it up. Interrupting a massacre? Merkel, help me. These three make the art of dance look like a ritual sacrifice. Call me Lucretious, ringmaster, necromancer, bringer of the night. Oh, and wine lover extraordinaire. Normally, I'd invite you into my tent for a lovely vintage, but these graceless skellies need my full attention. Enjoy my circus, darling.
Not that I'm aware of. The option to trade with her was grayed out down there at the bottom. I don't know if that changes after what happens down here, but we will check. There is one thing I did forget at camp. As well. Okay, and now we're going to make our way down here to the animal training area. Now, there are two conversations that you can have here, and we're going to split our group for one of them. And that is with Crimson here. You want to be careful where you're moving around here, because if you move too far this way, you're going to trigger an automatic encounter with Dribbles the Clown. You are able to move up and talk to Crimson, though.
It's bad the creature is near rabid in his bloodlust.
I'm gonna leave. Forgot to do my buff ups. We will just do speak with animals here, and then we'll buff the rest of it up here in a second.
Hunger. My stomach screams. Press your flesh through bars. And add blood. Rage.
Okay, for that encounter to work, you have to have a camp supply on you that you can give to him. I don't know, he wants meat. I've never tried to give him a vegetable. Instead, I've always pulled a meat camp supply out to give to him. But you want to give him a a meet before you start. And now the second thing you can see here is Shadow Whiskers. Now we can have a conversation with Shadow Whiskers here.
Another. Good.
You have an investigation check here you can make. We're not going to need to do that because of the other way we're going to do this. The investigation check will reveal that the lock is rusty and that you can break it to permanently keep the cage locked. That would prevent Shadow Whiskers from getting out of the cage at any time.
My time comes. I will show you. All of you. Look. See. The crowd. They laugh. They shine with innocence. But it is a lie. Every one of you is vicious. Cruel. You kill my mate. Steal my cubs. I roar. Break my cage. And then you die. You all die! Soon. Unlikely.
Okay, so Shadow Whiskers obviously wants to get out and wreak havoc on everybody out here, and that's why locking her in the cage can help prevent that. However, there is another way to do that, and
watch your back. Step lightly.
I'm trying to remember how I did this in the past.
Not on my mind. And, well, in it.
Okay. I think I can hide. I can attempt to hide here.
Let's keep to the shadows. What can we rescue? You come with me. One step at a time. If I must.
And I'm going to move Astarion way away, because sometimes they will move to confront you about that theft. Yeah, see?
Can't give up now.
So here's the confrontation.
There's a pickpocket operating nearby. You feel the arrow of suspicion pointing your way.
So I don't want Astarion to be the one to try and make this check.
You quickly clear things up. Obviously, you aren't the thief reported.
If it is Astarion there, then you have to pass a persuasion check to make that work. So you distract everybody here so that you only have to pass 2 hide checks. You can go invisible. I've already just used enough invisibility potions out of my stash already. So I performed over here, and it looks like I did very, very well in my performance. I'll just pick all this up. So you can distract these additional 2 people. That would be 2 more hide checks you would have to pass to succeed in going into hiding. And then pickpocket and then move away as far as you can so that you are not the person that she decides to come after after the theft is done. And now that you have the key, there are, again, a couple of different ways you can go about this. I'm going to have Astarion do this again.
Over there.
It's not a kitty. Maybe we should go.
And I'm not entirely sure if that will work, so I'm going to perform again.
Road ahead.
Okay, so that's not close enough. That's not either. Okay, so it looks like I've already got these two with a performance, so they're not going to perform again. Yeah. So we're going to unlock this cage with Astarion, but I'm going to move over here first. Because I don't know if I can unlock this cage from here or not.
I don't like Kitty. She looks scary.
I don't know what that is, Peanut.
Yeah, I can't.
It's not a kitty.
Not everyone subscribes to what is mine is yours, it seems.
So I succeeded in the stealth check. They just got lowered attitudes because of it. So I'm pretty sure that that's going to happen again. Okay, so when that happens, it doesn't really unlock it in turn-based mode. So let's try and unlock it here.
Just keep your hands to yourself.
Okay, so I don't think I get an option to unlock this. I don't. Trying to remember how I locked it. Oh, I know how I might have done it.
Ooh, don't get too close, or Crimson here might decide you look tasty.
Okay, I might have done this previously while Karen was already occupied another way. Because I think this is going to bring me out of invisibility and do the same thing. Okay, no it didn't. Okay, so that's the way to do it then. I was trying to remember how I did it last time. Now I'm probably... Okay, so they're not going to do anything now. So that's how you need to do it. You need to go into invisibility and open up the door. Opening up the door while you're invisible doesn't break invisibility. I thought it did because of my previous encounter just a bit ago with invisibility, but it doesn't. That's how you open the cage door. So sorry I forgot about that. Like I say, it's been a while since we did it on our Paladin run. The key is to unlock that cage while you are not in combat. We are going to get into combat here in a second, but not before I buff everybody up. So we'll go through our buffs here real quick. Okay, we're going to go drop Astarion off for Will.
have a lot on my mind.
Well met. Sorry, but there's no... Let's make this happen.
Okay, then we will get to Shadowheart. And we will cast on Shadowheart.
Let's get on with it.
Here it is, and we will do hold. We'll go back, and for her, she is proficient with Nirolna. So she is fully able to use it, and she can use it one-handed. So now, again, what's going to happen is even if she doesn't throw it, she can use it to cause thunder damage. Thunder damage is going to proc the Gloves of Belligerent Skies, which is going to afflict reverberation on that target. So she is now able to inflict reverberation. Then whenever she inflicts a condition, she's going to proc more reverberation with the Boots of Stormy Clamor. So in other words, anytime she hits anybody with this, she's going to make them save to be knocked prone. That's what getting Nirolna onto a reverberation build is going to do. Okay, and now everybody is buffed up. Does everybody have their combat gear on? Almost. Okay. So now we're going to make our way into this area here.
Buddy the dog is my very best friend. Do you know why? Why? Because with him, anything is possible. Way!
Between you and me, I love a good clown. And Dribbles is the best.
Did you hear about the scarecrow who lost a fight? Oh, hey! Looks like we've got a proper comedian in our midst. Good thing, too. I'll need someone with your wits for my next trick. Now, where are you?
A prickling hum runs through your very being. Your patron does not trust this clown. Not one bit.
You, my special assistant. Come on up.
Okay, so you can make choices here to send other people up on the stage. Astarian's conversation is very, very funny to have happen. Or you can approach the stage yourself. Now, you can make an insight check here. I have proficiency and I have advantage on this. However, it is a really, really high DC. So even with this, I'm going to have to roll a 20 at the highest and a 17 at the lowest for this to work. There we go. Perfect. That's absolutely perfect.
You stare, but glean no ill intent from the clown. Perhaps the makeup just threw you off.
Come now! Don't be a cowardly Connie! Perhaps you need a little encouragement. Now, up, double sharp, or poor Buddy here might think you don't like him. A round of applause for the stalwart heart. Now, I always tell children that they're special, that each and every one of them is unique.
You notice the clown reaching for something behind his back.
Tell me, what makes you special? No. I don't care about your special friends. I'm talking about you. You, my friend, are the most special person in the circus, in all of Baldur's Gate. Does anyone know why?
Why?
You're special, my friend, because I have a message just for you. Praise the Absolute.
You sense something behind you. Instinct takes over.
Okay, so passing the 2 perception checks there allows you to avoid being knocked off the stage by Bitey Buddy here. You are now dropped into combat, and there are 4 enemies, and that includes the 2 Animal Tamers that are back here. The important thing is that the Animal Tamers will open the cage doors here to Crimson and Shadow Whiskers, and they will become hostile as well unless you've already released Shadow Whiskers and fed the meat to Crimson. That's how you avoid bringing those 2 into combat as well. So it can make it a bit easier if you deal with those 2 before triggering this encounter here. So for this, we are going to do a slashing flourish here because we can get both of them. Okay, so a critical miss on dribbles. That wasn't too cool. Okay, so with my high armor class, I'm not too worried about it. Now with Shadowheart, if we decide to throw, and we can throw Nyrolna here, 65% chance to hit, and that's because throwing is based upon strength.
Seems simple enough.
And you see what I mean. When it hits, you are automatically going to be knocked backward. And you are going to be given 4 stacks of reverberation right off the bat from it. I'm going to bring out the maul here to keep Aaron occupied. Okay, you're going to get allies that join you as various other people from the security here inside the circus wander into range. So I'm just going to drop smites here, because none of them are going to have any resistances.
Blood follows me everywhere.
I'm not going to be able to kill dribbles on this turn. But... oh. Absolutely kidding me.
The punchline!
Okay, so for Will, I need to move up here.
Finding my way.
Boy, getting some serious misses. Okay, well I made up for it with a crit. So now they're frightened, which is good. But he's going to have disadvantage. And here comes Fred. The janitors are inbound. He's going to turn the tide. Boy, there's a whole lot of ones. A whole lot of ones.
Concentrate.
Survival is all that matters.
Okay.
On the victor's path.
Nope. Alright.
Another shapeshifter. I wonder if
So, they were all doppelgangers. Brought in by Orin. And here you have the clown hammer. Now, on dribbles, you're going to find this item, and the Grim Irony perk, whenever the weapon lands a critical hit, both the target and the attacker have to succeed a wisdom saving throw or be affected by fits of laughter. Fits of laughter is Tasha's hideous laughter. So, in other words, if you land a crit with this, it has a chance to inflict Tasha's hideous laughter, and that can be incredibly powerful, especially if you daze a target beforehand, so they have disadvantage on their wisdom saving throws. Now, the problem with it, though, is that you have to also make a wisdom saving throw, or else you're going to get hit with Tasha's hideous laughter. There is a way around that, though. This is the clown hammer. If you buy the clown makeup from the mummy at the start of the circus, and you apply it, then you do not have to succeed on a wisdom saving throw. It will just not apply it to you because you're a clown. And clowns can use clown hammers without any downsides, evidently. So this is a way to overcome the downside of this. So if you have a crit build, a melee crit build that you are working on, that you can crit on 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20, or even 15, 16, if you're throwing in something like Oil of Viciousness or something like that, you can land Tasha's Hideous Laughters all over the place. And that can seriously debilitate very strong enemies just with a melee attack that refreshes itself every turn. It's endless Tasha's Hideous Laughters as long as you can crit. Now you can guarantee crits with a bunch of different items. You can guarantee a crit with Luck of the Far Realms. You can guarantee crits with the Executioner perk. You can guarantee crits with a bunch of different things. And the Clown Hammer just allows you to go around dishing out Tasha's Hideous Laughter with that. The only downside is you have to put on clown makeup whenever you wake up in the morning. So there is an incredibly funny build. Funny being a pun there because Tasha's Hideous Laughter, where you can put together a super crit build that is based around wearing the clown makeup, using the clown hammer, throwing all sorts of extra attack buffs on it because it is a warhammer at the end of the day and it's +2. So you can throw on damage riders, and you can use this for your smites as well. So you can actually make a really decent weapon out of this that has a good chance to do Tasha's Hideous Laughter. And that's why the clown makeup is so useful. There's a reason you find it in here next to the clown hammer. And here we have a note that we can read about the tribunal. The tribunal is waiting for this doppelganger to kill some people, and we get our first glimpse of something that we're going to have to be dealing with later on. So just in case you didn't know, the clown hammer isn't necessarily a bad piece of equipment. You can utilize it with this face paint and be perfectly safe using it. It's not something that a lot of people think of or know about because there's nothing about it in the tooltip or anything like that. Okay, so searching the doppelgangers, we have some more camp supplies, and now you can see all the civilians have cleared out of the camp. Okay, they have all left, and Lucretious has moved down here.
Oh dear, screaming children, an oozing corpse, and it's not even my birthday. I thought the Absolute wouldn't dare set foot in my circus. To use such a woeful dribbles impersonator, why, it's downright rude. When you run a plane-hopping circus of ragtags and ruffians, few things faze you. Alas, I cannot afford to lose any more staff. Funerals are so very expensive. I need to move the circus, but I cannot leave just yet. Not without Dribbles. He was a star. Customers of every color and creed simply adored him. I need him back, and I'll shower the person who finds him in love, adoration, and adequate compensation. What do you say? Huh. I can respect that. And you're in luck, because I am old, darling. Ancient. I have seen stars explode and civilizations fall. Along the way, I happened across items of such power that would make you weep with awe. Find my Dribbles. You won't be disappointed. That's the spirit, darling. And remember, I look after those who make me happy. Hmm? Good luck, and thanks ever so much.
Okay, so there was no option to trade with her there either. Lord Henry, I checked in that conversation as well. You might be able to do the trick that you're going to see us do in honor mode on Saturday. I won't spoil that trick, but just like we were talking about earlier, if you lower someone's attitude towards you enough, then when you talk to them, the narrator will pop up and say that this person doesn't like you very much. Maybe a gift would help. And that's going to open up a trade menu, which is really meant for you to be able to give them stuff, but you're going to see items in their inventory that you're not normally able to see and or take. So it might be possible to lower her attitude towards you enough where you could get a trade window to open up, and you might be able to take or buy the staff from her through that window. That's something that, again, we're going to show in honor mode on Saturday with a very particular character. The way that you normally do that is by having a summon. You summon a character, you have it, any summon that you want, have it go up and attack the character. That lowers the attitude down quite a bit. That applies to everybody. And then you either just let the summon die or you dismiss it while you are standing way back away and you're nowhere near the combat. And then when the summon dies, it goes back to reset, just like this. But the attitude will have been dropped enough that it pops open a trade window. Now, the previous two conversations with her have all been pre-generated conversations, so they were guaranteed to happen. Now that we've gotten them both out of the way, I'm going to talk to her again because my attitude with her was lowered.
Hello again, my vicious little
So
warrior.
we're all
Any
past
luck
it.
finding dribbles?
So yeah, you might be able to do that with her, but not something that I'm really interested in since I don't need that staff in particular anyway. So now we're going to go have another interaction with Popper here, and that's because when you move toward his stall, and you hold left alt, the clown's severed hand is sitting here on this plate.
Oi! Give that back! It's my special hand! I found it by the clown man's tent. Fought a rat for it and everything's. It's a one-of-a-kind hand with artisanal bite marks. It's worth lots.
Okay, well, we're not paying 10,000 gold for that. You can forget that. Okay. So, the options here are all fairly doable for us. However, with the Warlock Deception, we have advantage on this. You're not... I might as well jinx it. You're not really going to need it at this point with your Bard character. So I might as well jinx this, because I've already rolled my double nat ones. So yeah, I wasn't going to roll double nat ones again.
More magic peoples gets the best stuff. Fine. But don't tell nobodies I gave it to you for free. Got to protect my reputation as a tough business lord.
Okay, so in our inventory now, we have the Clown's Severed Hand. This is marked as a quest item. I'm going to send that to camp, because I don't need to carry it for now. And that has advanced to find the Dribbles the Clown quest. We found his severed hand. There are 7 parts to Dribbles, I think. We had already found his torso. So we're now up to 2 of the part out of the 7 parts that we have found. And you said you saw the trade light up before I answered?
Hello again, my
see,
vicious
it's not...
little warrior. Any luck finding Dribbles?
Okay, here it is. Okay. So I am able to trade with her, but I can't see her staff. So, not entirely sure that trick is going to work with her. Anyway, to get her staff, you may have to, again, just go the route of going somewhere and knocking her out to take the staff. What'll happen is if you kill her now, the circus will up and leave. It will disappear. You'll come back here and there won't be anybody here. She has to remain alive for the circus to stay here. So if you want to utilize any of the vendors or for any specific items, or you want to come back and do something later, she has to remain alive for all of that to happen. So we have picked up another quest here. That's going to take us a while to do. We did obviously pick up that we need to head up and talk to Voss, and we... Okay, so he's popped back into... Because we killed him, he's popped back into Raphael's house. So we're going to head up to the south span of Wyrm's Crossing, and we're going to drop a save. Because we have reached the end of our live stream today. So next week we're going to work our way through Sharess's Caress. There's a lot of people to talk to in here and quite a few things to do. And once we've done that, we are going to work our way into Wyrm's Rock Fortress. And there's a lot of content to deal with, including bringing Karlach along with us so that she can have a confrontation with Gortash inside of the fortress. It's always a really interesting thing to see. So, as always, thank you all for being here. I love the interactions with all of you. Without your support, none of this would be possible. This is Commander Jorval saying, until next time, fare thee well.
All round pleasant folks, from what I've...
And if a patron